Gillie and Wallo send a warning to his son suspects. They wondering why he was in Olney. They know for a fact that Olney is in the hood in Philly, and if you gonna get hit up anywhere in the city in Philadelphia, it's probably gonna be Olney. There's a lot of things that go down there, and really the only people that should be in that hood is if you like live there or you got something going on, you got to pick up your family or something like that, right? Now, a lot of people are saying that it could have been a situation to where, people knew that he was kind of stranded in a bad area and it was a perfect opportunity for a setup. Now, a lot of people are trying to figure out, like, what's the connection between what YNG Cheese was doing and the people in the streets of Philly, because they looking at it like, wow, Philly is just straight greasy for doing something like this, because the biggest person that's popping right now in the whole city in Philly is Gillie and Wallo. And his son, they just started playing his music too. Like Young Thug did a shout out for him. He was with G Herbo, he was with Osama, all of them dudes, right? And so YNG Cheese was up and coming. He was getting big, and Gillie and Wallo was already big. And you got to remember, Gillie and Wallo, from when they grew up, they got some people that they done got into it with a while back. And they probably not the happiest people to be seeing them shining like that, buying Lambos, Ferraris. Their son is a rapper. He got all this jewelry. It's a lot of people who got hypnotized by the hate. Anytime they wake up, they look at their phone. It's Gillie and Wallo on the podcast. They go out, they turn on the radio. It's YNG Cheese singing on the radio, rapping on the radio. They go anywhere, they go to their girl house, and they playing Gillie and Wallo. And every single time that Gillie and Wallo's ops or YNG Cheese ops or anybody who got a problem with them or are salty that they don't have it like they do, man, these dudes got a lot of built up frustration. They've been waiting to hit this lick. And they know that Gillie and Wallo, because of the money they got, they moving militantly. They moving with bodyguards, security, and all that. So it's hard for them to get to Gillie and Wallo if that was the thing that they were trying to do. So ultimately, they knew if it's going to be hard to get to Gillie and Wallo, we know that YNG Cheese wasn't moving the same way. I mean, with the $100 million that Gillie and Wallo had, they should have had a security team for every single person that they cared about. Like, why doesn't YNG Cheese have his own security if his dad is getting part of $100 million? You know what I'm saying? So this is where you have to take into account that you have to move different. When somebody, you and the family or you yourself got hundreds of millions of dollars or millions coming in, you have to move different. You cannot just be like an ordinary person pulling up to the hood and getting out of the car with no protection, with no security, nobody to have your back. Because at the end of the day, how many people are in the same position as Gillie, Wallo, and his son? His son, if the rap game don't work for him, he has a fallback plan to go kick it with Gillie and Wallo, where they're already making millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, literally. So the other people that's out there, man, they know for a fact that, look, if YNG Cheese the only person in that position, then he needs to protect that at all costs. You got to protect that position you got in the game where you don't have to rap no more. You ain't really got to do too much. Everything that they doing is literally for fun and pure entertainment, because at the end of the day, they're not struggling to pay their bills. But that's on Gillie da Kid and his son's side. But the people on the other side, man, we don't know how, if times are tough, we don't know what they're going through. We don't know what they're thinking. Whoever it is that did this to YNG Cheese, and they got away. They rushed out the scene, man. They still looking for the person. The suspect is still on the loose. He did this to Gillie's son. He did this, and none of the witnesses seen him. They don't want to give the description of the car. They got to go now and look through hours and hours of surveillance footage to try to see if they could catch the license plate on the car that pulled up. It was a suspicious vehicle driving around, dark colored SUV. And from the reports, they're trying to zoom in, get the Ring doorbell camera, get the ADT footage, the security company footage from all the surrounding businesses, because they know that they had the cameras out in the front store of the storefront. And they know that when YNG Cheese hopped out the car and got on the sidewalk, that's when the other dudes started pulling up. It was two other guys standing beside him at a arm's length distance. And as soon as the dudes pulled up out of the car, they rolled the window down. All you see is an arm with a glove on it sticking out with a hoodie sleeve. And he had a bandana wrapped around some type of Mag 10 looking thing. And that's when he gets to dumping, letting it loose, man. And two other people got hit. But, you know, somebody was trying to bust back. But see, if they had security, the security would have seen it coming from a mile away, because they would have been the only, you know, while everybody else, like, you know how the rappers are. They're not really paying attention to their surroundings. They're really actually like reciting lyrics in their head from their own song. They in their own world, so they're really not paying attention. This is why security is so important, because they get to do their job and you get to do you get to think what's in your mind. You don't have to, if you let the security handle it. But a lot of times too, security backdoors and sets people up. It depends how much you pay them. And security costs a lot of money. You getting hundreds of millions of dollars, well, you better be willing to put some of that money up to make sure that you make it to see another day. This is the lesson that people got to learn, man. It's a type of way that you got to move once you pass a certain level. You can't really be going back to certain neighborhoods. It's cool to go and pick up your family and handle something very quick, you know, that's not going to be where you're lingering in a potentially dangerous area. And if out of all the statistics, you're the target because you're the one really with the most to lose. If you look closely at the situation, man, Gillie da Kid's son, YNG Cheese, Devin Spady, he's the one who has got the most to lose in this situation. He's wearing $500,000 worth of jewelry on him. He's got $100,000 on him plus in cash. And he has no bodyguard, no security guard. And it's just him and two other people that pop out, and it's not like they're not his closest, most personal friends. You know what I'm saying? They're not his family that was like with him. And so at the end of the day, you don't know who they talk to or what they're thinking or anybody else that's watching you, because the security, had they been there, they would have been able to spot out anybody that was following them, because they're properly trained on how to spot out people who are tailing them. That means when somebody gets behind you in traffic, they're not in the car right behind you, but they're like in the other lane, 3-4 cars back, and they watching your every single move. And you might make a turn and then you down the block and they hit that same turn when you're not looking. And then they just keep following you until they catch you lacking and pull up on you and really handle business, man. It gets down like that. It gets real gritty out here in the streets, especially in the East Coast, somewhere like Philly. You got to understand that this is something that could have happened to any single person out there. And so if you got the opportunity to have millions, you got to move like you got that. You got to move in a way where you're not showing off too much to people. And, you know, you could be driving nice cars. You could be having fancy outfits and jewelry and everything like that. But you better make sure that you got something or somebody is there to have your back, because there's plenty of people that be willing to take that right off of you and take you away from your fam. So let me know what y'all think about that, because Gillie and Wallo are super heated right now, and they coming after anybody who has something to do with this. The warning's been put out there. The whole Philly PD looking for the suspect now. They gonna get down to it. They're gonna take all the footage and play it in reverse and see what direction that car came from. Then they're gonna go down the block and get the other camera and see if they could zoom in and see if the dude's face shows through the windshield. If they could get a close up and high resolution actual picture of the license plate when it's turning the corner in front of the cameras, man. And there's not too many cameras in this part of Philly. There's more cameras downtown. But a lot of people got to realize that this is Oldney. This is the hood, man. And so a lot of people, they've already made it to where, they took out a couple street lights. So it's already dark there. They spray painted the lenses of a couple cameras. So some of them, you're not even going to be able to see what happened. It really comes down to the witnesses in this. Is there any witnesses who've seen what happened? Did you see anything? Did you hear anything? Because Gillie da Kid is trying to get justice for his son right now. And somebody has had to have seen what happened, man. Because I know that in communities like this, is a lot of people who, I ain't see nothing, I ain't hear nothing, they gonna plead the fifth. They not gonna rat or tell on anybody or give any information. They don't really care. They don't want to have to get involved in this. At the end of the day, man, you got to realize that if you seen what happened, it's somebody's kid that got taken away, man. And you got to live up with holding that information to yourself. And you got to take that to the graveyard, but because they trying to get justice for Gillie da Kid's son, man. They trying to get justice for Devin Spady. And there's got to be somebody who's seen it, but we all know what's going to happen. Even if people did see it, nobody's going to help. Nobody's going to tell. And this is the sad reality of it, because in other communities all across the world, they're going to help their neighbors. If one of their neighbors got hit up, if one of their people, if somebody that was just a visitor or someone walking through the neighborhood innocent gets hit up and they heard, they saw, or they believe to have found out or seen a suspicious car or anything, then they got to do the right thing and call Gillie da Kid and let them know, because there's two things that's going to happen. Either they're going to help Gillie da Kid get the justice for his son, or this is going to be something that gets taken care of in the streets. And we all know Gillie da Kid history.